Hello, this is Paul Nisi from FrontTowardsGamer.com, following Comic Station. We're here at the Philadelphia Comic Con at the Zenescope booth again, and this time we are going over the comic for Screwed. It is a new series going on here at Zenescope, and I'll let each of these fine men introduce themselves, what were your parts in the comic book, and some of your previous issues that we may know.
I'm Keith Thomas, I'm the writer. Tyler Kirkham basically came to me and said that he wanted to do a modern version of a Frankenstein story with a female lead, and that started the whole ball rolling. My biggest credit so far before then was a one-shot for Big Dog Inc., which came out last year, but I have several projects in the works at the moment.
Hey guys, yeah, Tyler Kirkham. Hopefully you know me, just by doing some of the Marvel and DC stuff. Done a lot of Green Lantern work, Teen Titans, Phoenix War Song, Transformers, just a lot of stuff like that. But Screwed is my first creator-owned project, and we're really excited about it. It's a 6-issue miniseries. Yeah, and we got the whole crew here together for this show because we're launching the series, at the Philly show, because it comes out in I think a week and a half.
Wednesday.
So yeah, Wednesday, June 5th. You can pick it up at your comic shop if you didn't make it out to the show. So.
I'm David Miller. I'm the artist on Screwed, and Tyler picked me up on a down period, and I started working on Screwed, and it's been a blast ever since. I've worked on a little bit with Dirk Manning's Nightmare World. I've worked with Orlando Harding on Pariah and Night Stalker, and now Screwed, which has been a blast.
As you mentioned, Keith, earlier, and a lot of Zenescope does this. They reimagine or retell a lot of classic fairy tales and myths. And this one obviously is Frankenstein, but this one has a female Frankenstein. It kicks right off. First page is action. She's in the hospital. She's getting attacked by somebody, Suture, and I love the artwork on it. Very vivid, very bright. And what were you trying to get by with? Because Frankenstein itself, as a story, has its own morals and everything that it's trying to teach. What were you trying to add to the Screwed that tells it in a new light?
Go ahead.
Was your initial idea?
All right. All right. Well, yeah. With Screwed, we wanted to do, obviously, a reimagining of Frankenstein. It's like when people read Screwed, they're not going to expect what's coming, because they're going to think, hey, it's a Frankenstein story. It's just going to be the Frankenstein legend, with a girl. That's not what it is at all. It's just inspired by Frankenstein, really, when it comes down to it. And we wanted to do, obviously, it's Zenescope, so we wanted to do the female thing. It's something that hasn't been done, but it's not like with the original Frankenstein. It's more of just classic horror. This is like horror action drama, you know what I mean? There's a lot of crime. It's like a crime investigation. And we introduce a lot of characters, but they kind of have like when people are reading it, they'll notice characters that aren't exact. They're not like they'll see characters and they kind of think, oh, hey, that could have been this character from the old Frankenstein legend. You know what I mean? They'll have to put it together though. So there'll be stuff like that. But
honestly, I think the biggest story, though, the biggest moral of it is kind of the morality of science. Like how far can you go with science, and when is it too far, and basically the repercussions of it. That's really the biggest moral of it.
As you were saying, with the being unexpected, there was a part in the first issue here where obviously she has a lot of mental issues. She's going through a lot. She's been through a lot. Obviously experimented on. She's lost her memory. And there's at one point she ends up getting hit by a truck, and the people come out. Honestly, I fully expected the stereotypical nursing her back and helping her learn, and nope, just killed him. And I this unexpected twist to it. I really enjoy that. And as you said, with the different characters, who they could be. There's the FBI, you got the special agent. There's a lot of people playing together, and it is a mystery trying to figure out, as she's trying to figure out, you're trying to figure out what happened to her.
Exactly.
So,
There is basically, you will find in the story, you'll find Igor, you'll find Dr. Frankenstein, you'll find the villagers. Basically, they're all in there. The Frankenstein monster, everything is all there. And if you look hard enough, you'll find a Frankenstein reference somewhere in every issue.
very nice. And again, I like the artwork in here. I want to go through each of yours. Obviously, you just said you were trying to do. It's inspired by, but what inspired your work in it? What inspired your work in it? What were you trying to get? What was the biggest thing about Screwed that you're trying to get through to the readers?
Biggest thing I was trying to get through to the reader, basically, it's just, like I said, the morality of science and the horror of it. The fact in the story that with what's happened to her, anything that comes at her, anything she thinks of as an attack, she goes to the classic instincts, the aggressive in nature. This is attacking me, it's my enemy.
Yeah, fight or flight. She's definitely tiered towards the fight.
Well, I really wanted to bring out the character of the script. That's one of my main concerns, is not only the story, but all the facial expressions that come into play, little descriptive words that is important for me to really, blend in with the comic and the story. So little things from the eyebrows being down and the way the scenes are taken. I try to think of things more of as a movie than I would think of things in a comic. I try to think of how a director's eye would look at Keith's, and Tyler's script. My big interest is really trying to distill the character in each one, and when they are presented in their turn, to really give them enough personal distinction in their faces. Whether it may be maybe Anne isn't the most beautiful girl you've seen in a comic simply because she's a monster. She's been made into this thing, and I have to somehow characterize that through facial expressions. After she wakes up, what does she feel? How first of all, she doesn't know who she is. She doesn't know where she is, and and she realizes she's a monster. She's being attacked by something, and I have to put myself, as weird as it sounds, into Anne's shoes. Not only with Anne, but I have to put myself in the shoes of the hospital, of the location that they're in. I have to. What happens in a hospital? How does that correspond with Anne running out, and as she's leaving the hospital and fleeing, all these people trying to stop her, and she doesn't see them as right. She doesn't see them as people. She sees them as monsters, and the first thing that she does is she attacks them.
Well, she sees them as a threat.
Right. She sees them as a threat.
Anything that's threatening her, she just something has happened, where she doesn't know why. But
right. And you don't think she'd just go and you don't think that she'd go into this and just kill somebody. You think that she's a heroine of the book, but it turns out, well, maybe she's not so good. Yeah,
absolutely. I was really left conflicted because on one hand, she's obviously, again, been through a lot. She's got her memory lost. She's being attacked by monsters. But then I kind of, on the other spectrum, she's seeing people as monsters. And while I can understand her being freaked out, she's also killing people.
Exactly.
So she is not she's not the heroine. It's kind of, as you would normally stick a label on something, she's not the typical hero. So.
But it's going to be part of her evolution. You follow the story, watch the evolution, watch how she deals, and knowing that she's done this before she realized will be a big impact on her personality also.
Yeah, it's a very important, not just plot point, but mentality of the series itself.
Like with, right out the gate, Suture, right? We talked about him earlier. He is a monster. And she just clearly got attacked by him, literally life or death kind of situation. So I think after that experience, and she sees something else that kind of resembles a monster, I think anyone would probably react that way, but yeah, I get what you're saying though, for sure.
Yep, it's relatable yet, again, conflicting. It's just kind of a little awkward as far as
Just
feeling bad for her.
just follow her evolution.
Yep.
Stick with it and see where she goes from there.
Absolutely. Again, pick up Screwed right now in comics shops. It'll be available on Wednesday. Go pick it up. We're in for a ride. I mean, as far as I'm looking forward just to see how she progresses once she learns what she's doing, what made her that way, what made her not just lose her memory, but what literally made her. So you get a little hint of that in the first issue where Sutured is calling somebody, and he's obviously working for someone. So, and what is his motivation? Because he's working for a purpose. So there's a lot of mystery to be found and a lot to find out in future issues.
Exactly.
Thank you very much. I really enjoyed this issue. It's a perfect fit for Zenescope, again, taking a classic story and not just reimagining it, but imbuing it with modern sensibilities. So thank you very much. Again, this is Paul Neeson from Front Doors Gamer, Comic Station, signing off from Philadelphia Comic Con for 2013.